Doncaster Rovers are your early door leaders over in League 2 after opening day thumping, which sees Carlisle rooted to the foot of the table. What's going to go on in match day number 2? We're going to get into it. All of it next. That's right, folks, back once again in another video. Today is the return of League 2, Day 2, Match 2, over in England's 4th tier. That's right, of course we do know Doncaster lead the charge. Gillingham breathing down their necks after 2 cracking results for those heavy hitters at the tip of the top of the table. But what will go on in match number 2? Is that form a real deal, or is it just a blip in the radar? We'll get into all of that and more in a second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for League 2 is right here under one Rooski. Also going to be bang up to date with the prediction league, see how you guys got on, but of course, first and foremost, we're going to see how I got on. So let's get into it and jump into the vortex and show you what I'm talking about. That is right, ding ding dong, here it is, League 2 in all its glory, and a quick recap of my results, of my predictions compared to the results. Here they are on the screen, as you can see. Chesterfield picking up a draw opening day against Swindon. I went with the home win on that one. Barrow beat Crewe in a bit of a local affair, 1-0, to give themselves a good boost on day 1. Meanwhile, Cheltenham, of course, returning to this tier of the football after relegation last season, 3-2 win, Goldfest in that one, a result which, of course, I went with to some extent. Meanwhile, Bromley, big away win for their debut in League 2. 2-0 win on the road against Harrogate. Salford, they lost to Port Vale. Of course, heavy hitters. We're imagining them going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. Walsall opened up with the 1-0 win over Morecambe. Just the 1-0 win for them at the Bescott. I went with the 3-1 win myself. Gillingham, 4-1 winners over Carlisle. I went with a 2-0 win. Bradford picking up a 2-1 win on the road against high flyers, heavy hitters, or a team expected a challenge. That was MK Don's big win for them on the road. Tranmere could only muster a 0-0 draw against Notts County. Doncaster with a big 4-1 win over Accrington. Fleetwood 1-0 winners over Grimsby, and Wimbledon 4-2 win over the Cowleys. That's right, and that is Colchester. So not the greatest start, and that of course is reflected by our first leaderboard of the season. I'm there down into 7th place, but in good company alongside Callum, RTR 1879. But currently, table toppers, Hawkeye plays everything, and Zach 888 with 9 out of 12. So give them a round of applause, guys. Give them a round of applause. They're, of course, opening up, flexing their prediction muscles. But guess what? It's a marathon, not a sprint, guys. So let's jump into round 2 and see if you can maintain that momentum as we get into it. If you want to get involved, it is right here. The link is on the screen right now, 100% free. It's just about a bit of competition throughout the season, make it a little bit interesting, and see if you can out-predict me, the prediction king. And currently, you guys are. So well done to you. But hey, it is, of course, a marathon, and we are jumping in with match number 2 right here, right now. I'm going to start with, I'm thinking, a Greater London affair or All London affair as we take a little look at Bromley up against Wimbledon. That's right, folks. We're heading over to Bromley as they take on AFC Wimbledon again. That's right. They've just featured playing against each other in the Caterpillar Cup this last midweek. They feature again, this time with something a bit more serious, perhaps, and that's over in League 2. They have played each other 3 times since 2008. 2 wins for Wimbledon, nothing for Bromley, and 1 draw between the two sides. That match was back on the 13th of August, 2024. Wimbledon coming out on top with a 2-1 win. The last time they played each other in the league was all the way back in April 2009 with ended up being a 2-2 draw. Wimbledon opening up with that 4-2 win over Colchester. Bromley with a big 2-0 away win for them against Harrogate Town. This is their first league match of the season at Wimbledon, but very much take 2, you would imagine, on that one. But it's going to be a tight affair, I imagine. Not much in it, so I'm going to stick it to Bromley here, give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe bounce back with a 2-1 win over Wimbledon as they get a bit of revenge for the Carabao Cup exit. Let's go head north, far north, and that is Carlisle United up against Barrow. That's right, another cracker over in League 2. These two sides, again, familiar foes, actually. Played each other 8 times since 2018. 4 wins for Carlisle, 2 for Barrow, and 2 draws. Of course, Carlisle, managed by Paul Simpson, coming into this just 1 win in those last 6 matches. Barrow, though, looking a bit A-OK at the moment. 3 wins on the spin, 58% form for them heading into this one. Now, these two sides last played each other over in Carlisle back in January 2023, and it was a 5-1 win for Carlisle. And speaking of Carlisle, not the greatest start to the campaign, of course, conceding 6 goals in the past 2 games combined in all competitions and all venues, losing to Gillingham on the opening day. following up with a home defeat against Stoke in the Cup. Meanwhile, Barrow, back-to-back wins for them. Back-to-back home wins, though. A win against Crewe and a win against Port Vale in the Cup. This one's going to be on the road, though, and a tricky one as well. The bookies fancy Carlisle for the victory on this one. They are favoured, but for me, I'm a little bit, on the fence on this one, so I'm going to give it a split right down the middle. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw and a good point for Barrow on the road, and maybe, just maybe, they are legitimate contenders for the long haul. Let's go to Accrington Stanley. That's right, up against Harrogate. Of course, Accrington Stanley needing a win, and big time, of course, because they are 6 games, maybe even 7 games without a win in a row. In fact, 7 defeats on the spin. Of course, John Dolan got the tough old task to try and get this team pushing in the right direction up against Harrogate and Simon Weaver. Now, they have played each other 3 times since 2023. 2 wins for Stanley, 1 win for Harrogate, and there's been 0 draws between the 2 sides. The most recently, they did play each other over at Harrogate, actually in Accrington back in August 2023. That was in League 2, and Stanley came out on top with a 2-1 win. They picked up 2 wins over the 3 matches. The bookies are siding with Accrington Stanley here. They are favoured for the W. It's going to be a tough old response from Accrington. They've conceded 7 goals in the past 2 games combined. Harrogate 1-1, lost 1, picking up a big win over League 1 opposition Lincoln in the Cup. That might give them a bit of momentum. Gonna back Stanley, though. I think at home they might have a bit about them, but it's their away form which has got me concerned. None the same. Let's go to Swindon now as they try to build on some momentum, but they've got a tricky task on their hand as they take on Walsall. Now, this match and the previous ones are taking place this coming Saturday, 17th of August 2024. These are familiar foes. 35 times they have played each other since 1999. 12 wins for Swindon, 11 wins for Walsall, and there's been 12 draws between the 2 sides. Swindon under Mark Kennedy, not a bad, iffy start for them at the moment, up against Walsall and Matt Sadler, both on 58% form over the last 6 matches. Most recently, they played at Swindon. It was a 2-0 win for Swindon back in September 2023. The away side's only won once out of the last 5. That's when Walsall beat Swindon at Swindon back in December 2022. Swindon's opening couple of matches have resulted in a draw against tricky Chesterfield and then a 4-2 loss against Crawley in the Cup. Meanwhile, Walsall 1-0 winners over Morecambe and a big 4-3 win. Penalty shootout win over Exeter to see them through and looking good at the moment. Both those games were at home. First away test for Walsall on this one. And it's going to be a tough one as well. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for Swindon at home. They're going to be a tricky old unit, and I think they'll get the 3 points and move along. Let's go over to Wales now as Newport County host hot shots, hotly tipped, hotly fancy Doncaster Rovers. That's right, Newport County with Nelson Jardine at the helm up against Doncaster and Grant McCann. Played each other 6 times over the last few years, stretching back to 2016. 3 wins for the Welshies, 2 wins for Doncaster, and just 1 draw between the 2 sides. Not great form for Newport at the moment. 8% form for them. Doncaster looking A-OK. 75% form for them over the last 6 matches. Last time around in Wales, it was a 4-0 win for Newport County, who've won 3 on the bounce against Doncaster, but their form is woeful. 3-2 loss to Cheltenham on the opening day. Big heavy defeat in the Cup against Leighton Orient, 4-1 win as well. Doncaster picking up back-to-back wins, beating Stanley on the first game of the season and following up with a win over Salford on the road. So good, strong win there. Bookies are also fancying them. I'm also going to give it to them as well. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Doncaster Rovers on this one to add to their first win of the season and maybe move top of the table or remain top of the table. Let's go to Crewe then, over at Grimsby Road. It's Crewe Alexandra up against Chesterfield. Of course, bit of a tasty Northwest crunch clash for this one. Lee Bell at the helm for Crewe up against Paul Cook's Chesterfield. They have played 15 times since 2003. 6 wins for Crewe, 6 wins for Chesterfield, and there's been 3 draws between the 2 sides. Crewe not looking good at the moment. 5 defeats at the last 6 matches in all competitions and in all venues. Up against Chesterfield's 42% form for them at the moment. Just 1 win in the last 4 matches. Both sides yet to get going really this season. We'll talk about that in a minute. Last time around though, over at Grimsby Road, it was a 5-1 win for Crewe. That's right, all the way back in September 2017. In fact, back-to-back wins for Crewe against them when they were both in League 2 last time. Opening up the campaign, 1-0 loss to Barrow on the first game of the season and crashing out to Rotherham in the Cup for Crewe. Meanwhile, Chesterfield drew with Swindon on opening day and then lost to Championship derby and the match. The bookies going with the away side slightly here. I'm going to back Crewe with the win, 2-1 win for them, get themselves moving, and hopefully going back into business as a contender this season. Chesterfield will be there or thereabouts, we know that. Grimsby Town up against Cheltenham, coming at you over in Grimsby. Now these two sides played each other 18 times since 2004. 6 wins at Grimsby, 7 for Cheltenham, 5 draws between the two sides. David Artell's Grimsby, though, 58% form for them. They do come into this on the back of a win. Cheltenham on the back of 2 wins. That's right, Michael Flynn's boys looking to keep the form moving in the right direction. And the last time they played over at Grimsby, it was a 1-1 draw back in April 2021. In fact, Grimsby are unbeaten against Cheltenham over the last 4. In fact, they just lost once at the last 6 against them. So Cheltenham's last victory all the way back into 2018 in Cheltenham. The last time they picked up a win in Grimsby, though, you gotta go way back. I don't even know. There it is right there. 2016 was their last victory. The bookies are fancying what we're going on here. They're fancying a victory for Grimsby, but only just. Grimsby picking up a 1-0 loss to Fleetwood opening day. They did beat Bradford on penalties in the Cup. Cheltenham with that opening day win over Newport County. They're playing tonight against Plymouth in the Cup to see if they can go through. Tight one, this one. Going to go with another draw, of course. Cheltenham looked good the last match. Can they maintain that form heading into this one? We shall see. Let's go over to Colchester as they take on MK Dons. Both sides limping at the moment. Cowley's Colchester up against Mike Williamson's and Milton Keynes Dons. Played each other 24 times since 2004. 6 wins for the hosts, 14 wins for the away side, and 4 draws between the two sides. Colchester on 58% form for them right now. Milton Keynes on, of course, 42% form for them. 3 defeats on the spin. Not looking good at the moment. Last time around, though, over in Colchester, it was a 3-2 win for MK Dons back in August 2023. Colchester did bounce back following their opening day loss to Wimbledon, 4-2 loss, by beating Reading on penalties in the Carlisle Cup. Meanwhile, MK Dons did lose to Bradford opening day. They followed that up with a bit of a drubbing against Watford, 5-0 loss in the Carlisle Cup. The bookies, though, are going to back MK Dons to be favoured. 3-1 win in the end for the visitors in my eyes as well. Let's hop on over to the northwest, to the coast we go. It's Morecambe up against Gillingham. That's right, Gillingham High Flyers. Morecambe down low. Played each other 12 times since 2008. Derek Adams Morecambe, 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6 against Gillingham, and Mark Bonner also on 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn to. They have played 12 times. 7 wins for Gillingham, 1 win for Morecambe, 4 draws between the two sides. Most recently, though, in Morecambe, it was a 3-2 win for Gillingham back in March 2024. The Gills on the back of a 4-1 opening day win against Carlisle. They did crash out to the Cup to Swansea 3-1 just last night. Walsall did beat Morecambe 1-0 win on the opening day. They also follow that up with a 3-0 loss to Huddersfield in the Cup. So back-to-back goalless affairs for Morecambe. They are struggling with the goals. The bookies are backing Gillingham on the road here. I think I might go that way as well. Yes, I have gone with a 1-0 win for the Gills on the road. We're starting to get the wheels moving, get the wheels greased just at the right time. Let's go over to Port Vale against Tranmere, also up in the northern western region of the UK. Port Vale under Darren Moore with Nigel Atkins and Tranmere Rovers. They played each other 35 times since 1994. 11 wins for Port Vale, 17 wins for Tranmere. There's been 7 draws between the two sides. Port Vale, though, 33% form for them at the moment. 4 defeats of the last 5, but they did win on opening day, and we'll talk about that shortly. Tranmere, though, cooking under Nigel Atkins, 67% form for them, unbeaten in the last 5. Most recently at Vale Park, it was a 0-0 draw back in August 2021. That was in League 2. Port Vale opened up with that 2-0 win over Salford. They did crash out the Cup against fellow League 2 side Barrow. Meanwhile, Tranmere opened up with a 0-0 draw against Notts County. They followed that with another clean sheet as they beat Accrington Stanley 3-0 win to, of course, progress to round 2 of the Cup. Bookies, they go with Port Vale on this one. Tranmere, the underdogs. I'm also going to back with the bookies. 2-0 win for me. What about you? Let me know down below. Into the Power 2 now. We got Bradford City up against Salford City over at Valley Parade. Now, this is going to be a tasty one, I can imagine. Graham Alexandra, did he manage both these two sides? But anyway, they have played each other 11 times since 2019. 4 for Bradford, 5 for Salford. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. Bradford, 58% form for them at the moment. Just 1 defeat in the last last 4 against Salford. 4 defeats on the spin. Carl Robinson, I really like him as a coach, especially at this level, but right now it's not moving in the right direction for Salford. The last time they played over at Bradford, it was a 1-1 draw back in January 2024. Bradford are unbeaten against Salford over the last 3, just 1 loss of the last 6. So they like playing them, it looks like. The one and only victory for Salford was actually in the EFL Trophy, so who gives a toot about that one? Bradford with a 2-1 win over MK Dons. They did crash out the cup against fellow League 2 side Grimsby. Salford picked up a 2-0 loss to Port Vale opening day. They also lost to Doncaster as well. Bradford are favoured by the bookies on this one, and they're also favoured in my eyes. Going to go with a 2-0 win for Bradford City at home to take the points and get their season off and running. Notts County now, they complete the pack up against Fleetwood Town. That's coming at you on Sunday night or Sunday day. Played each other 3 times since 2013. 1 win for Notts County, 2 for Fleetwood, and there's been 0 draws. Notts County under Stuart Maynard, no wins in the last 6 games. Pretty grim at the moment for Notts County. That's stretching all the way back into pre-season and including their the current exploits in this campaign. Fleetwood Town, though, looking good under Charlie Adam. 2 wins from 2, 75% form for them. And of course, most recently played Notts County back in August 2014, and they picked up a 1-0 win as well. Back-to-back wins over Notts County. Notts County's one and only win was all the way back in the Cup back in August 2013. Notts County with a 0-0 draw against Tranmere opening day. They did crash out the Cup to Shrewsbury on penalties. Fleetwood, though, wow, what a start. 1-0 win over Grimsby and a 2-1 win over the Baggies, who, of course, riding in the Championship. The bookies are backing Notts County, though, for this one. When you look at that, you should maybe go for a Fleetwood victory, perhaps, but I'm going to side on a bit of a caution here. I'm going to go with a draw myself. 1-1 in the end. Point split right down the middle. What do you think about that? Let me know down below. In fact, don't forget to get your picks in the Prediction League. It is wide open, and of course, and it should be on the screen right about now. But until then, that's it. That's match number 2 complete. Be sure to get involved with the chat down there. Of course, make sure you subscribe and hit the like. But until then, I'll see you soon for the next one. Keep on predicting. See you later. Until then, we are done.